I did gymnastics since I was about 4 or 5 years old. I was a real jumpy kid, you know, jumped around, really full of energy and everything. Did gymnastics for, till I was about 16, but when I was 15, I was doing school cert, and at that time I was top gymnast in New Zealand at doing the bars, and I thought, I had gymnastics twice a week, going all around the country doing gymnastic competitions and doing school cert at the same time and coaching gymnastics. It got too much, and I didn't realise it got too much because I was just really energetic. Suddenly started to get thin, and when I started to study, I suddenly thought, gosh, I've been sitting so long, I'll have to go for a run. And then I'd go for a run, and then every day it got more and more of a run. And after a while I was running about 3 or 4K and then I'd come back and I'd think, I suppose I shouldn't really eat too much because I'm just sitting here. So it started like that, and I became really conscious about what I was eating and really conscious about what I was doing. And it got worse and worse and worse until I got really thin, and people started to notice, and I thought, they're saying I'm skinny, but I don't feel any different. But this nagging voice kept coming in my head, you've got to go for a run, you can't eat that. And it got so strong that it took over my own thoughts. And then people started to abuse me and said, why are you doing this to your parents, you know? And I was thinking, well, I'm not trying to do this. It's just, you know, taking over my whole, I couldn't do anything. It was just awful. And I felt really bad because my parents were suffering and my family was suffering, and I was the cause. But anyway, I then ended up going to the doctor, and he said, you have to go to hospital, Tania. And that was like devastation, because my whole routine was gonna be out of line. And what do I do if I can't go for a run? What do I do if I can't do these exercises? But in my mind too, I thought, I just feel like a rest. Hospital would be so nice, you know, so it was like, perhaps it'll fix me. Anyway, I went to hospital, and I thought, perhaps this is where I'm meant to go. So I went to hospital, and they did the dumbest things then, because they didn't know much about anorexia when I was young. And I knew what they were doing, even though they were trying. It wasn't going to be the answer, because as soon as I got out of hospital and puffed up with heaps of food and put on weight, it was just downward spiral again. I got worse and worse and worse, until I was just, one night, it was just horrible. I was I sat down in the hall, and I was just screaming, someone help me, because no one could help me. But then Mum sent me to I went to a psychiatrist, and they said the only hope for you is to go to a mental hospital. And I thought, but I'm not mental. And they put me in a room for 6 months, locked room with no people. I was only allowed to see my doctor, the psychiatrist, and that's all. I wasn't allowed to bring Mum and Dad. And and then so I sat there and talked to God and said, why is this happening to me, and can you help me? And I prayed and I prayed, and I still couldn't get better, and I used to cry myself to sleep every night, and my whole pillow would be covered in blood from the stress of crying. And then they'd bring in these meals every day that I had to eat, but I just couldn't eat it. So anyway, the guy next door to me committed suicide, and I heard everything, and I was thinking, God, how long am I going to be in here with people taking their lives next to me, and depressed people around, and all I've ever seen in 6 months as a doctor and a nurse. And then I didn't gain any weight at all, none. I actually lost it there. And then one day the psychiatrist and the head nurse came in. I thought, whew, I'm in trouble now. And they came in and they said, right, we're kicking you out and there's no place for you. And I was thinking, well, what is there now? I'm just gonna die on it. What am I gonna do? So that's when I was like Peter in the boat, and I reached out to Jesus and I got on my knees and I said, Lord, this isn't my problem. This is your problem. Take this from me. I don't want it anymore. And I really meant it. Like I'd been praying, take it away from me, take it away from me throughout the whole time. But this time I said, Jesus, this is your problem. Take it from me. I don't want it anymore. And I really meant it right from the bottom of my heart. And I just felt this huge burden just went like that off my shoulders. And the nurse came in and said, here's your clothes. And I said, oh, okay. So I got up and I thought, well, Jesus, I'm a new person. And I went down to the cafeteria and I looked at what they were eating and I thought, whew, no people ate so much. Well, that's what I have to do. So I was just watching someone what they had for breakfast. I thought, well, obviously that's what you have. So I ate that. Then I had lunch, dinner, and I was just so happy. Like, I was just so happy. God just gave me a real happy time. And life just got better and better, and got married and went farming, had 3 kids, and not looked back. So, and that was 40 years ago. So God can heal.
I hope you experienced the love of Jesus as you watched this video. To see more great content, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and explore our website, fantailstudios.com.